Good afternoon, Professor DePaisa. My name is Nohelani Zequera-Aguayo, and today I will be talking about how healthcare should be free in the U.S. As many of us know who aren't very wealthy or from the local middle class, we normally have difficult decisions that we have to make because of how expensive the economy is in today's world. We normally have to choose this because either we get behind bills or we get behind bills that are too expensive and we're not able to keep up with them. Or we can go to the hospital or go to a doctor and get checked out but then have a high copay, and because of people not working a lot, we're not able to pay off that payment, and therefore we get into more debt within our medical costs. Not having access to healthcare is a very important decision that you should care about because the government should be able to make our lives easier as U.S. citizens and not create a financial debt for us. We have seen how the government has just pushed aside poverty and just care about how much money people bring to the table. They let very unfair things happen within the healthcare system because one person has enough money and the other one doesn't. I think this decision is very important because we should be able to see how the government can come into play when they're being very corrupt. And then for my thesis, the United States government just wants to control every little thing that we do. We should be able to have free healthcare and visits for the doctor. Okay, so what I have gathered from this topic is my 3 main points are, I'll first start off with equal access for healthcare. Like my other point that I just stated, I feel like we should all have equal access for healthcare because the government runs based off of different socioeconomic statuses, and I feel like that's not fair. We all should deserve free healthcare because of all the taxes that we pay for and just all the bills that we have to accommodate and be able to pay. And also for this decision, I feel like the government system should take into account not just the patients but also the employees. They go very underpaid for overtime work, and they deal with a lot of stuff from the patients, and because there's unfair decisions, employees have to put up with rude comments. Okay, now for my second point, I have less financial worry. So for this point, I feel like a lot of people should realize how much debt we go into with different medical bills, depending on what your case is. Like if you have like a serious chronic illness or something that's just life-threatening, like such as cancer, and like all the treatments for that, how expensive it can be and how you can go into debt for that. I feel like the government system should create a better way on how to be able. They should create a better system on how to provide different services and needs because they honestly just care about their end and while they should be caring about the people. Like other countries, I think it's like Fiji and Switzerland, like they have like free healthcare for their citizens, and over here you literally have to like pay for everything. It even costs money just to breathe and survive. So I feel like that's a very strong point in this topic of healthcare being free in the U.S. It creates a lot of financial stress, and that also goes within mental health, physical health, overall just mental stress and physical stress and emotional stress. That also creates a lot more health conditions for the patients going through that, because the government isn't doing what they need to do to make U.S. citizens' lives easier and have a less financial worry than having to wonder how they're gonna pay for this next cost. Because that's why a lot of people don't really try to go to that. That's why a lot of people don't try to go to the hospital, and they just push it off because they're not able to get the right care that they need. And then my last point is better health communities. For this point, I would say that it correlates a lot with my last point that I just mentioned, less financial worry. If the government system did better with less financial worry, I feel like we would have better health communities, because there wouldn't be a lot of like mental stress, physical stress, emotional stress for the patients, and also for the employees that work in the hospital, such as the doctors, the surgeons, the nurses. I feel like everything would just be at a relaxed point or level. But with each of these points, the different problems that they bring are, like I said, debt with medical bills, like I know for specific treatments, like for cancer, or like or just like even when you have like heart attacks or strokes and stuff like that, and you have to go get medicine at whichever pharmacy you go to, such as CVS or Walgreens, or even pharmacies that, or a specialty pharmacy that sometimes insurance doesn't want to pay for it because they actually want to see that you're in a critical condition when you are in that condition, and they're not able to see how critical the situation is. And then with my other points, like I said, it provokes stress and anxiety, and also lack of emotion. And solutions for this are equal healthcare, reducing medical costs, and providing more accessible healthcare throughout the U.S. And what I hope that you guys can learn from this is just to understand the different rules that healthcare makes, and to just for the government to make petitions for the government to do a better job within healthcare.